Mondays. Mondays. Last Monday of the month, too. You guys know what that means. I don't know what that means, but you probably know what that means. I'm gonna guess, at the very least, it means good times. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing? Good to see you, folks. Can I hear a toes in the chat? What's up, everybody? Yeah, can you rotate the other way? I guess not. Okay. This thing's not agreeing with me today. How y'all doing? Welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy to have the Toes gang present for another tea-filled Monday. I got tea today. It's finally starting to... Wow. Yo, the sun is so yellow. Holy crap. Wait, can I flip you around to see that real quick? Hold on. Can we... turn around. Look how yellow it is outside. You can't even tell from the camera. It's very yellow though. Just trust me. Like, you know that snow that you weren't supposed to eat as a kid? It's like that. Welcome in, folks. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Toes gang. We've got plans for today. I'm looking forward to it. 6 ads, huh? Twitch, you off the chain. It's good tea. I got my planet mug. We've got some Star Citizen plans for today. We are going to be having a little catch up. We haven't done a Q&A since August, and it's almost October. And a couple of things are happening. First of all, 3.24.2 is in Evocati. And we've got some big news regarding that patch and what it actually means for the overall patch cycle. How it factors into 4.0 and all that kind of stuff. I will be making a video on that to come out in the next couple days, but I figured we should have a little sit down and chat about that. And with that, my humble beginnings come from the trenches of Reddit. That's kind of where I started getting more into Star Citizen discussion, was on Reddit. And I haven't been hanging out there too much lately. So I thought maybe during these kinds of discussions, we could start to make some returns there. Maybe we could jump in and look at what kind of discussion is going on, maybe the Q&A thread or whatever is happening, and, get caught up together on the latest bumblings of the community. I generally, I find Reddit to be kind of like Spectrum Lite, which makes it safe enough for me to venture into. And as far as discussion goes, I'm not about to out our Discord garden on the stream all the time, but there are some good threads to I think hop around on when you're perusing through Reddit. So I thought when we do these sorts of talking streams on Monday, when we're just Q&Aing and kind of chatting back and forth, this could be a way to keep the topics going. Somebody did a really nice write-up on here. I think the name was, where was it? Luna A did a write-up of the unofficial editions of Evocati, which I thought would be cool for us to go over. Oh, look, there's some Skybox stuff going on too. So we'll be hitting some of the big hits there. Also want to check out some of the new website updates that have been going on, specifically the ship store page. People have been talking about that, and I'm interested in hearing, or seeing rather, what that has to offer. I haven't really looked at it. I had put a poll out earlier this week talking about kind of asking people how they feel about Star Citizen at the moment. And little secret, I plan on doing this poll every single quarter from here until the end of times, or at least until it gets boring, because I think having a consistent barometer of how the community feels from our own community here would be interesting. I have done the horrible 4 poll options, one of them being just looking at the results and Unfortunately, I probably didn't hit all of the options that are needed for a poll like this, but this is how it's going to be. Every quarter I put this out, we see what people are saying. I think it's an especially interesting time to do it right now because the sentiment about around the game is like in not a great place, and possibly after CitizenCon or after IAE or even after 4.0 drops, I think things might change a little bit. So we'll see about that. And then besides that, I've got the YouTube page open from Star Citizen, and we will be checking out kind of just, you know, here and there clips and videos and things that devs have said as the questions come in and we talk over the next couple of hours. So thank you all for joining me for this. Hope you enjoy this sit back and relax kind of stream. Get out your questions. You know how it goes. Exclamation, or not exclamation. I always say that. Capital question in brackets. And then your question makes it easy for me to find. But before we do get to questions, we're going to look at some of the what's going on in the current testing of 3.24.2. And also before that, I got to say my hellos. You guys are in here early. Fury, Matt Sully, Reese, Unloading Whale. You guys, I saw you chilling on YouTube before we got started. Balian, AK, Trulin, and Robert. 07s to all of you. Thanks for hopping in here. Notification gang. Jordak, welcome. Space Guy was first on Twitch with Raygun and Vastin shortly after. Ready to dance, ready to funk. Colt Kimber, Zero, Daft Digit. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see you. PK, A, Zero, and John Doom. How you guys doing? Colt Kimber, Aether. Skizzle Nuts. It's a good one. I like that one. Whole bunch of you guys go off with the Twitch emotes now. I love it. We got so much movement in the chat now. Don't shooting me already? You guys are... What is that? We just got started, man. You give her too much fun with this. It's too much laughing. It's too much excitement. Where are my, hold on, my notification sound effects are unplugged here. Plug that back in. Okay. She's fumbling with her Nerf gun over there, so I've got some time. Morning. Dora broke it. Good morning, Lux. How you doing? Welcome in, Fresh Prince. Good to see you. Pedro and Fury and Funkmaster and Tiny Home, my man. Yeah, we're playing with the radiation. Jesus, thank you very much. Chat, why do you do this? Don't, not the head. Not the head. The armpit. Right in the side of my tit.
I was going for your nipple.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You kind of missed. Sorry, it's really small. Yo, Lux, thank you for the 10 memberships over on YouTube. Appreciate you. Much better than getting shot. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And fuck my tomatoes up!
Didn't quite get my tomatoes, thank God. Oh, Captain Super Nightman, good to see you. Left in the middle of the server meshing in the last episode of the launch sequence to watch live. Yo, that is a good talk. I haven't looked at the comments yet because I feel like they could go either way. They could go any way. Okay, YouTube, calm yourself. Chill out. Thank you very much. All right, YouTube, you're good for now. I think they could really go either way. But it was a good talk about server meshing with your boy, 10#42, friend of the channel, regular guest on the launch sequence, and also helps with some of the editing on our second channel and our main channel, Space Tomato 2. Yum, yum, yum. Love some tea. I was never a tea person. I was a hot chocolate person. I don't think Reddit is a cesspool. I think Reddit's pretty great. I think it obviously has a lot of redundant arguments and things that just don't need to be said, but God, it's better than Twitter. That being said, like I said, I don't spend much time on Reddit lately, so maybe my take's a little outdated from a few years ago. Do I believe in the new ship hype, and do I think they will be flyable? Which new ship? I think that there are new ships on the way, and they will be flyable. Not sure which ones, though. Also, before we get started, as Mrs. Tomato said in the chat, we got some new merch. Hey, where do I find that? Where do I find the merch? Let me give people a preview. It's, what is it? It's exclamation point merch, I'm guessing. It's a new shirt. Specifically, yeah. Say no to pyro. We want Nyx. It's CitizenCon 2954 themed. It's a protest shirt. Let's be honest. We're gonna all wear it to CitizenCon and tell everybody we want Knicks. We want Knicks. And I know. Who cares? What matters? Who cares about another star system? It doesn't do anything. But you know, I prefer a place that's a little more friendly than Pyro personally. Will I be touching on alleged leaks? I'm just gonna look at the Evocati stuff that's going on, and no pictures, no videos, nothing like that. Just kind of potential stuff that has been talked about being in testing already. Thanks for joining us, Jordak. Do I know that you can't gift memberships to your channel on mobile? It works on other channels. I don't know why that would be a thing. That's weird. Maybe it's a conspiracy YouTube's trying to get at me. I heard that I was getting paid to talk positively about Star Citizen. Maybe YouTube has decided that's not a good thing, so they've blocked some of their own payments to me because they're worried about that kind of thing. Trulin, Elaine, Funk Master, 07s everybody, Mabutu, Artemis, Cantor, Skizzle Nuts. Welcome in everybody. Senior Citizen with a question already getting started off. You feel like SCM speed reductions are meant to drive people into turret and engineer roles? Do I see any other purposes for the changes? Honestly, I don't know. I don't even know what SCM changes are going on yet. I'm sure we'll get to that in the in this post here. Wherever that is. Here we go. But I can bet that it has something to do with the capital ship gameplay coming up. Possibly. Maybe. I'm catching up to chat, folks. We're going to get started real soon. Feel like you always missed your shout out because of YouTube ads. Man, YouTube and Twitch both. You guys need to sync up your ads, folks. Come on, YouTube. Excellent interview with 10 Pound. Thank you very much, Arya. Glad you enjoyed it. Hey, Tomato, do we have any update on what Soul Singer is? I have no idea. I haven't even looked into it yet, to be honest. 10 Pound and Hybrid are your favorite guests. Maybe I'll get them on at the same time at some point. Try Hacker News instead? What is Hacker News? Less stinky is still stinky. Let me tell you, I'd rather smell the stinkiness of garlic than the stinkiness of poop. So less stinky is good. Gooder than stinky. Hey, Istanbul, how you doing? Good to see you. We're sharing the same sunset. Misk Fortune. Don't know anything about that just yet. Do we have a black hoodie? Perhaps. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't gone through the whole store, actually. Mrs. Tomato set that up. You were going to play Red Dead Redemption 2 while I streamed, but instead you're doing Hogwarts. You should co-stream and have your game playing in the corner of my stream while I'm talking.
All I'm doing is just flying around and killing spiders.
Killing the spiders. Spiders are good. They keep us from the bad bugs. So my mom always said growing up. It's like, Mom, there's a spider in my room. Spiders are good. I don't care.
How about poachers?
Stop signs are also good, but they're annoying.
How about poachers?
Poachers? Poachers are not good. You should kill those. Especially if they're poaching spiders. Although you're kind of a spider poacher in this sense, huh? Yeah. I don't know. That doesn't sound great.
Talk about Star Citizen.
There's a great thread from yesterday that outlines most of it, if not all Evo changes. Hope you find that. I've got that up. Honestly, I don't even know like what the whole... There's like an NDA surrounding Evocati stuff where you can't show... I'm pretty sure you can't show graphics, but you can talk about it. So I think if I'm just looking at the text, that's okay. But I'm guessing I'll find that out within a couple of hours of this stream. And if anybody is watching this from CIG, judging whether or not I'm supposed to look at this stuff, just give me a little slap on the wrist. Don't raid our house. Don't send the FBI, all right? I promise. It's just a mistake. Mabutu! What's my best educated guess as to when 324.2 will go live? I would guess right before CitizenCon. Or at CitizenCon. But we'll have to see what happens to it in Evocati. I haven't even gotten caught up on what's happening with it performance-wise. So who knows? It's a nice rock. Tegan, I did not see your question. Can you post it again? Or I can scroll up a little bit. Let's see. Let's see if I missed it. Did you put question before it? That's what I'm looking out for. Not seeing it. What's Nyx about? Nyx is a neutral, unclaimed system, so it's not controlled by the UEE, but it does have a faction that generally keeps the peace. They're called what is their name? That's not going to help me, is it? Man, what is their freaking name? People's Alliance is what they call themselves. And they're kind of like, they're not bad. It's a fringe group that aims to create an equal, self-sufficient society separate from the government of the UEE. It's a place to go for missions outside of the law and for black markets good, but it's also a home to radicals, rebels, free thinkers, and those who just don't want to be bothered with Earth's bureaucracy. So it's like not as edgy as Pyro, but it's still kind of like a little on the wild side to go to. Think 2012 Tumblr. No? Like, they're not quite Facebook, but also you're not just dropping into a Yahoo News comments section. It's like it's a little more wild than that. So I think it'll offer a pretty nice place for people to chill if they're not into as much danger as Pyro will offer, but it's also more frontier vibes than it would be in Stanton. And that's going to be a pretty interesting place for them to introduce. Also, probably going to be heavily included in like exploration gameplay when they're bringing it in. Lots of talk about Squadron, but wouldn't capital combat need to be fully fleshed out before that could be a thing? I think in terms of capital combat, the only thing you'll probably be doing Squadron-wise is like manning a turret or something. Oh, Ferrister, what's up, dude? Hey, good to see you, man. Ferrister was on the last episode of the podcast. That was good times. I believe Mrs. Tomato is a Ravenclaw, if I'm not mistaken. Data mine files are a horrible indicator of what's actually in production or coming soon. Indeed. Indeed, and I don't know if what I'm reading is data mined files or is from the actual stuff people have seen in the Evocati patch. We'll get to that here. You're a new player, just started a week ago and saved 10 million. Now you want to fight, but you don't have any idea about ships. Which ship good in fight? I would grab like a medium fighter. I'm not a great combat person. Like, don't ask me about combat. I would suggest though grabbing yourself a. Are we good there? Hey Chris, I don't think you guys could even hear that. These don't play any sound, do they? They don't. They just pop up and. Okay, yeah, I should be able to hear YouTube alerts. I would say grab like a Hornet or a Saber or a Gladius and see how you feel with it. Do I think the CL will be available on the ship upgrade part of the pledge store? It should be once it's on sale, yeah. Imagine being told it's not a scam, but being paranoid they are still watching you and stressing if you can share info or not. I mean, it's like a literal, I'm not even going to waste breath explaining that to you. What's up, Jones? How you doing? I'm good. I'm good. Good to see you. Do I think they'll ever go back to developing the Banu Merchantmen? At some point. Hey, there's a question I can answer for you. Exploration, I think part of it will, be finding things that people can mine. But I think there's going to be a lot more to it. Finding other kinds of resources, derelict ships, wrecks, outposts, cool locations. Places for bases, transient jump points, and all that jazz. More tea. Always was, oh, talking about Ferrister ship reviews? Good times. You don't pledge that much to begin with, but you're holding on any additional pledging until CIG makes some statement of how Point 2 feeds into their larger vision of the game. Like 324.2? Okay. Why do I think people are spending record amounts per player this year? I have no idea. I feel like there could be a lot of reasons for that. People could just be interested in where the game is headed and be encouraged to spend more money. People could be, it could be the sales. Yeah, they've had more sales this year, I think, than any other year. There was that one silly sale they did at the beginning of the year when they were like, in case you missed it last year. Don't do that, CIG. Don't fucking do that, please. I hate that. I hate in case you missed it sales in any category. Except for maybe like hot chocolate mix. Sometimes I'm just like not thinking about the hot chocolate mix when I go to the grocery store and I come back a week later and suddenly they're on sale. Oh, in case you missed it last Sunday. I'm like, yeah. Good job, Aurelius. Thank you. But, you know, other than that, All right. Let's talk about some of this stuff coming with 324.2. So thank you again to Luna A for making this post on Reddit. We appreciate that. It is a list of some of the things you've personally seen, or some things Evos have seen. Okay, so this isn't data mined stuff. This is stuff in the actual build. Many features may be removed with further builds by the time it is open. Yeah, so when we go through these update notes and these features that they're going to show us here, it's good to remember that a lot of this stuff might just literally be here for the Evo Kadi part because they want to bring it in and see what it looks like when normal players get their hands on it and then completely draw it back and not put it in the PTU, not put it in live or any of that stuff. They've done this before in multiple patches and it can lead to disappointment, especially for, you know, like players who don't know what Evo Kadi is. And that's why this used to be under NDA, because to be honest, they do a lot of experimental stuff in Evo Kadi and they don't want to get people's expectations up and everybody starts talking about this stuff and then they just pull it back. And look at what we're doing here, getting expectations up for things that they might just pull back because it's in a stage of testing that's not really indicative of the live game. That being said, caveat given, and hopefully that one sticks and people hear that. If you got a membership gifted to you on YouTube, make sure to hop into the Discord and check out our supporter alerts section. Do exclusive, actually, you don't have to do that. On YouTube, on the homepage, you will now have access to all of our exclusive videos in the members only videos playlist. We've got a new one coming this week, so check it out. I am more interested in server meshing than anything else to work, to be honest. All right. So first things up on this list are the MFD changes. We've seen a lot of this. It was an ISC. It was planned for 4.0. It's been brought forward into this latest patch because it's ready and 4.0 is not. So we're seeing the new MFDs for starters. No diagnostic screen, but we've got all the other screens that they showed in ISC and MFD casting. Let me pull up some of the footage of this stuff so you guys can actually see what this looks like. And I don't have it on my C drive. Dang it. That means I'm going to have some trouble finding this stuff quickly. but it should be here. It's going to be on my my server. Let me pull that up at least. So we got MFD settings. You can cast your MFDs, which is really nice because now it's not just going to be on the screen, the information you're looking at. It will also be up in the corner of your helmet. You'll be able to change what shows up, what appears there. Oh, I don't think we have any of this saved now that I'm looking. Okay. Good to know. That's something we gotta get caught up on. Okay, so I don't have this saved just yet, so we'll just have to go to their own video on it. So the MFD stuff is pretty nice rework of the cockpit in the different ships, and the Cutlass Black, which we're seeing here, is actually getting a pretty solid rework, moving around some of the screens and changing the radar a bit to fit more of Drake's design language. And they actually have made them custom for almost every manufacturer, at least the major ones. And this is something they've been talking about for years, like 5-6 years. They've been talking about how UIs are going to be custom made for each manufacturer, and this is going to help to distinguish the different ships from one another, and just build a little bit more of that. What ship do you really like? Are you really drawn towards? So here's a little look at that.
Aegis?
It's very militaristic and it's very sleek. Anvil is great. I love the green color of Anvil. It feels a lot more like an F-16 cockpit. Drake is my favorite. It's retro and Blade Runner and CRTs.
There's Argo?
It really feels like a piece of industrial equipment, which is what the brand is going for.
And there's the generic style that will support all the other ship manufacturers for the time being. For this release, the MFDs are getting 9 different views. Oh, how many is that even? Well, let's go through it.
Okay, so 9 different views that they're supposed to be getting. But we're only seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this list. So maybe more of them will be coming further on in the Evocati process. A lot of this stuff comes throughout Evocati and throughout PTU. They won't necessarily all be in these first couple of releases that we're reading about right now. This is going to allow for different weapon grouping as well, which is something they talked about, and ultimately different controls, a lot of more key bindings. And God, what I really, really hope for is a system similar to Elite Dangerous. Don't know how many of you play that game, but it was always really easy to move around the displays in Elite Dangerous because it would just focus in on the display. It would let you control it with key bindings, and then like pull back once you're all done. And you can kind of see that some of that is happening here. You can see that kind of focuses in on MFDs. I'm not sure if that's a keybind that makes that happen, but it would be great if there was one. I know they're adding a lot of key bindings here, something that a lot of people aren't happy about. There's already a lot of key bindings. I would definitely hope that, I mean, these aren't required, right? You could still use your mouse to control all this stuff, but it is nice if you are somebody who uses your MFDs a lot to be able to easily just refer to a single MFD with a certain type of key binding. Power management is the next thing on this list. And this is an interesting one. So it says here total battery amount based on power plant, allowing more batteries based on power plant quality and size. I'm wondering if this is something that'll actually be in the live game 324.2, or if this is just one of those things that they do in Evocati to see how it works out with regular players. Because this is a big part of engineering, is the power management stuff. We've seen this in the ISC just a couple of weeks ago. They talked quite a bit about it. Let's see, let me pull it up here. So this is the power management screen here.
On the virtual part, which is power management and analysis of your ship. On the engineering screen of your ship, the ship conditions are each component.
Enough power when it runs.
Show me power.
Tap into
There we go. Okay. So from here, you can see that you've got small power slots for each component you're using. You got guns here. I think this is thrusters, shields, power. No, this isn't power supply. I don't know what that is. Nuclear reactor, whatever it might be. comms system, life support, and coolers. So you can allocate power from this block over into your components here. I believe one is your power supply and one is your battery, but I might be wrong about that. So here we're talking about the ability to use those batteries for the powering of your components. The idea being, even if your power supply is offline, if it's damaged or you had to replace it or something, batteries will hold a temporary charge that can allow you to still power through and keep your ship running for a certain amount of time. This is telling us that there are different amounts of bars for weapons, engine, shields, quantum drives, radar, life support, and coolers. That is what we're seeing here. You can see that they have different amounts of power that each thing can take. The bars required for specific systems depend on the component type and quality. For instance, a C-grade military cooler required only 1 bar to be active, with 3 bars total available to allocate, and an A-grade industrial cooler required a set of 2 bars to activate at all. So, depending on how nice your component is, it could require more power, but it could also run better. And I think CIG has a really good opportunity to, in the long term, make it so that your industrial level component is one that doesn't have as many glitches and malfunctions even when it takes damage, as opposed to your performance grade component, you know, obviously needing more maintenance. Likewise, your A level component that's really high quality will run better no matter what then, based on your D level component. This gives people some incentive to upgrade, to craft, and to collect better components besides just, you know, it runs better, or it gives you a faster quantum jump speed, that kind of thing. They're tweaking things. You can't really call it a nerf if they're not done balancing. Say what? Guys, oh, you're talking about the Corsair stuff? We will be getting to that. So that's kind of the power management stuff that is included in at least the early testing of this patch. Other things that are going on, some master modes tunings. I'm guessing this is kind of the first of the tunings that they're going to bring in at 4.0. And the stuff that we can finally start to... We can finally start to discuss master modes again. I say that, but oh my god. Once we get over to this poll, you'll see that a lot of the answers to this involve master modes. We never got to get away from that discussion, but now they're going to give it an update, which means that technically we're getting back to the point where we can start to discuss that change in the game again. Component rebalance, tying into the new power management, gives much greater variation between components. That's more of the good stuff. I think components are going to be one of the best ways in this game to encourage people to pursue material progression. New enunciators with different colors based on current status. Those who don't know, the enunciators are...
There's also a unique version for turrets as well.
There. So this...
And it links into the new or updated gimbal modes.
Zooming in a lot.
It also shows your current weapon group.
So this is your enunciator right here. And it's looking like that'll be different for everything, especially considering they're customizing things based on the ship type.
An expandable.
Super nice MFDs.
Really good to bring it over now because we've got the new resource network system.
Enunciator.
So we need to have the MFDs here to support that new gameplay. Initial release, there'll be 5
enunciators.
visual styles to the MFDs and the HUDs.
There's Aegis.
It's very militaristic.
Enunciator, here and here.
and
Digital enunciators.
It's very sleek.
Oh, actually, no, I'm wrong. I think this is... No, that's not... No, those are controls.
It's very militaristic, and it's very sleek.
You got it down here in the middle for these anvil ships.
Anvil is great.
At least for the Terrapin.
Green color of Anvil. It feels
For the turtle.
more like an F-16.
You just call them warning lights. Yeah, it gets it done. Your Drake, they're here kind of stacked on top of each other just like this. And I'm not sure if this also counts as part of that or if that's part of the HUD.
Is my favorite. It's retro and Blade Runner and CRTs.
Here's Argo.
It really feels like
And Argos, it looks like are here and here, I think. They're just orange.
Blade Runner and industrial.
No, that's not the Annunciator. The Annunciator is like what tells you what's going on with your ship. Wherever on here.
PRT's
See, you see that? Okay.
favorite.
Sorry.
It's retro and Blade Runner
So you can see the shield button blinking right here. That's their whole role.
and CRTs.
Here's Argo.
It really feels like
I'm not seeing Argos though.
a piece of industrial equipment, which is what the brand is going for.
Maybe they just
And
weren't
there's
ready
the
for this.
generic style that will support all the other ship manufacturers for the time
No, I guess this is the Annunciator on this. Okay.
being.
But yeah, it's like your status lights basically for all your systems. Physical HUD. We've been seeing some of that in these same videos. You can see that like things are kind of projected.
For this release, let's go through.
Self status. So you'll have
You can see like the light is kind of projecting from a place into the HUD to make it look a little more grounded in your ship. Fuel quantity and price rebalance. Much higher fuel tanks along with much higher fuel consumption. Fuel is much more expensive and takes longer to refill via the MISC Starfarer. So this could be something that's only in Evo. But much higher fuel and much higher fuel consumption gives us, if we get more a higher total amount of fuel, that gives us more opportunity to refuel, thus making refueling gameplay more interesting. I think that would be the main takeaway from that. But some of you might be more smart and able to get deeper into the speculation surrounding that. They've also got jump drives now becoming active in the game. Obviously, these are meant for jumping between star systems, and while they might not work now, they are meant to be another component that our ships use. Smoother quantum travel. Seems less jumpy with smoother acceleration and deceleration time with new dynamic music. That would be great. Quantum travel looks pretty cool. I think if you go back to like what they showed us with what they showed us here. This looks sick.
Ultimately, this is the final phase of gameplay iteration before we fully transition into optimization and stability on the road.
That's a sick transition. And if quantum travel looked like that every time you were getting to a planet,
Gameplay iteration.
it'd be amazing. But because you get to this place where like it loads in the destination or loads out the destination you're jumping from, there's like kind of hitching. And if they could get it to the
Before
point
we
where it
fully
looks like this in the
transition
PU,
into optimization and
that'd be
stability
great.
on the road.
This looks really sick. So hopefully we're moving towards that direction with smoother QT stuff they're talking about here. Bullet penetration is what we talked about when we looked at engineering. Basically that ballistics can penetrate the hull of your ship, be able to go through the ship armor and damage your components, especially when your armor is down. They could more easily penetrate into your ship, damage components, take out your fuel supply or your power supply, take out your life support, take out your shield component, whatever it might be. That would be that's a pretty big addition. And this kind of factors into also armor getting added to the game. You don't really like how water, the QT effects look. It kind of just looks like some stock UE effect. Maybe they transitioned over to Unreal Engine for it. Maybe Squadron 42 is actually built on Unreal Engine and we've all been bamboozled. They've added non-functioning fuses and non-interactable fire extinguishers to some ships. This is interesting because I'm wondering just how many ships they are adding this stuff to. Back when they thought 4.0 might be a little earlier in the year, they planned on doing, I think, 10 to 12 ships turned over for engineering. At this point, I'm betting they've gotten more of them ready for engineering. And it would be cool if like a majority of the ships were getting this kind of functionality. The ones at least that have interiors that you can interact with. What's my view of CIG releasing a lot of content on their Galactopedia about Sol system? I think they're just... I don't know, they released a lot of random stuff on the Galactopedia that generally seems to coincide with the writers just getting around to adding things. If they're adding stuff for the Sol system, it's probably because there are either references or the necessary information that the Sol system needs to have as backstory for Squadron 42. I doubt it has anything to do with the PU. But overall, the narrative team is just slowly going through the stuff on a schedule that they have, and as they finish it, they bring it up into our purview. Yeah, I think it's probably Squadron 42 stuff. I don't know if we'll be going to Sol, but I bet no doubt they reference it, talk about it. Currently putting together a tech preview build for an RMQ and meshing test with all backers later today, with loads of further performance and stability improvements that help us push further. That's good to hear. Message of the day, huh? Life support. Removed after the first build for now, but it was in testing at least. We'll see what goes on from there. It was on a few ships with control from engineering, allowing venting out air per room by opening a door to space, which changes the O2 and temperature. Pretty standard, what we were expecting for this kind of stuff. Powered life support will refill rooms with O2 and stabilized temperatures. If unpowered, it won't refill rooms deprived of oxygen. On the power management MFD, it will show a bar to indicate total life support throughout the ship. This is something that people were worried about. Even on this very stream. If you're worried about the idea that you have to manually balance temperatures on your ship, do not worry. The life support system, will do that for you if it's powered. If it's not powered, then obviously you might have some problems on your hands. But if the life support system is powered, the temperature and the oxygen levels will be balanced to whatever set point you set it to. CitizenCon info drop today? Is that what Xylo said? Yeah, I can drop this link in chat for you. Let's see, what is that from? Is that the dev tracker? Seven hours ago. 19 hours ago. I don't see anything about that. Ah, on Twitter. You make me go to Twitter? Oops. Let's see if I have that open. I do! Does it pop up for me, though? I don't see him. Ah. First CitizenCon info drop today. Okay. Is that schedule? Jesus, man. You're going to have me making so many videos this week. It's actually, that works out quite well. I've been waiting to do a CitizenCon expectations video for the main channel until we got the schedule. Like, I wanted to do the deep dive with you guys and the podcast episode with Citizen Central, but I didn't want to get into like a really hardcore speculation video until we had the schedule. So now I can start working on that. You like the videos? Well, thank you. They want to ramp up to 2,000 players. Is that like a immediate goal kind of thing or a later kind of thing? Ramps can be a certain level of inclination, you know? They could ramp up very steeply, or they can do a little shallow ramp, like the ones that I used to ride on my skateboard at 8 years old, thinking I was really cool, but not really getting very high off the ground. Is it that ramp up of my 8-year-old skateboarding self, or is it a real ramp? That's what I want to know. Expectation video of empty promises. I think I'll leave that one alone. During the first build of life support, it was able to be powered with a power bar, but later builds have it grayed out, not taking power with life support not fully functioning and behaving like in 324.1. So probably just an Evocati experiment. This likely won't make it into the live build. UI. UI is getting improvements. We've already seen MFDs getting an update. Slight change to warnings for readability, VJoy, velocity indicators, clearer ship symbols, much less clutter. It's great. It's good that like we're seeing some pretty quick iteration on the UI in ships. It shows a clear sign that they are finally past spending most of their time just building out UI stuff, like building blocks, and we're getting proper UI implementations in most updates now. Let's see, 324 was basically 323, so that doesn't really count. In that case, we've only gotten one update this year. But like 323 had some solid UI improvements. Some of them not the best, but all of them I think indicated that they are much more serious about getting UI into a good place than they used to be. You remember when it took like 2 years for the mining UI to get updated? Or for kiosks to get updated and stuff? Now they're hitting those UI updates and they're polishing them up kind of quickly. Semi-quickly. Kind of, sorta. Wow. Wow, Yarkin. Can't wait for none of this to come to PU and mean something. I don't understand. Are you completely unaware of what we're reading right now? This is a report of things in the PU? Jesus, some people are like just so lit at the ass end. Radar altimeter shows distance from the ground. Oh my sweet Jesus. How many people, like how hard have we been waiting for the altimeter to not show sea level? It doesn't help. I don't care about sea level if I'm flying towards a mountain, you know? This would be a fantastic change. I really hope this is sticking in from this Evocati stuff. Because, yeah, especially at nighttime, this is super useful. Manufacturer-based ship UIs, we've seen that already. MFDs. Precision mode's interesting. I didn't think that they were going to brand precision mode, but okay. Zoomable ship radar is nice. I remember when we used to actually plan our quantum travel from the radar in the ship, and we haven't been doing that for a long time, from what I can remember. I don't even know if you can interact very well with the actual radar in the ship, but that would be a good one. Quantum marker symbols would be great. 323s it was a decent update to the quantum stuff, but it's still not super clear. New Arena Commander UI uses a blend of Squadron and Star Citizen UI styles. Okay. We all care about Arena Commander the most, right? That's the big one for us, yeah? Names do not appear by default now for ships. Scanning is necessary to reveal names, so they're hiding more stuff behind scanning being the discovery method rather than just names popping up, which I think is cool, but I also feel like we really need more indicators of like what a ship is doing, so you can quickly and easily react to what every ship is. You know, if there's a ship in the game that you can't see its name, I would want to still be able to know, is it in SCM or nav mode? Are their weapons powered up? Are they targeting me? That kind of stuff. And we get some indicators for that, but I think the Delta signatures that they've been talking about are like the real things that we're waiting for. What do I mean by brand precision mode? Well, they're saying here that their manufactured-based UI is also touching precision mode. So precision mode as of now is, I don't believe, I think it's just a generic UI. And I wasn't thinking that they were going to make it match the brand of the ship that you're flying. I don't even remember what it really looks like. Let's see. So this is what it looks like.
Okay, so
Just generic, and I'm guessing they're gonna make it. I guess they would change the colors up, and that's probably about it as far as making it more matching of the ship manufacturer. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm showing you things from CitizenCon that they actually got in the game. That doesn't happen, right? My bad. Let's get back to this. Caves show up in the minimap and Moby-Glass for sand caves, acidic caves, and the new rock caves. I love that. Golly gee, though, I cannot wait until it's like we have to either scan those caves ourselves, buy the data to get that information, or find it from somebody else. That's when exploration gets good. Good times. Star map changes. Stanton appears as a category to sort locations by solar system. Previously, you could fully zoom out to possible galactic map, but that was removed. Makes sense coming up to a game that's going to have multiple star systems. Still cool to see. Star map and ship radar have faint rays of light from origin to objects. We saw that basically what we were talking about makes it look more physicalized inside the ship. Multi-tool UI updates, battery UI on the bottom right with charge and drain functionality. That's probably something that we saw here. Let's see.
enables you to. We have what we call charge drain
See if we can
technology
catch
coming
that
out
UI
from
here.
which enables you to transfer an electrical charge from one component to another. So you can like jump start a generator, for example. There's scope for much more gathering type of missions, like going out into the field.
No, I guess they didn't show us that.
The tower. Get away for your journey.
Do we not get a single look at the multi-tool UI? Oh, here we go.
At the scrap.
Okay, yeah, so they're just talking about this UI right here, which is showing us our battery, and I guess this is like something to do with the salvage.
Yards in order to process them. Another piece of non-combat.
Why is the battery power going up? That's weird.
Yards in order to process them. Another piece of non-combat game.
So yeah, that's what they're talking about with that UI. Character customization. Oh, was I in the way? My fat head. I'm sorry. Here it is, right here. You see that?
Can do on foot. So salvaging all the various panels which have turned up at the scrapyards in order to process them. Another piece of non-combat game.
I use precision mode. I use precision mode whenever I'm fighting the capital ships. I don't think it's really that useful right now because they don't emphasize component damage yet. But I like to, I roleplay a little bit. I like to think I'm doing damage to specific parts of the ship. And I did use it, I think, when I was fighting an NPC who was in a smaller ship just because, I don't know, it kind of did help me see it a little bit better. Can you scan using precision mode? I don't know about that. Good question. Hey, catch you around, Fury. See you in a bit. That is a salvage container filling up. You might be right about that, Gunny. You might be right about that. Character customization. Oh, this one makes people unhappy. I think this one makes people unnecessarily unhappy. The comments that character customizers can get online is it's interesting. The newest update, though, is giving us stubble, new hair, tattoos, piercings, and some new face scans. We've seen this here along with the cowsies. The cow update. The cowards.
5 different types of quasi.
What do you call a dictionary written by cows? Cowards.
On their skin as well.
Sorry. So we've got the character customizer introducing some new hair types.
features for the character custom.
I'm personally happy because they're introducing hair types that I tried to do as a kid but could never do because they're too painful and they take way too long with my hair. The new mullet, of course, very important, very important. You got to have a good mullet. Piercings, new braids and stuff. Tattoos are coming in. Stubble, beard stubble is becoming a thing.
Gonna match anyone else in the verse.
Big fan of the Beltalowda tattoo that they're putting in.
The tattoo system.
Why would the character
really
customization make anyone happy? Dude, I could give you like a pamphlet on it, to be honest.
great. You can select from a plethora of tattoos, and you can adjust the colors so you get them just as you like them. And you can also
Tattoos on the person.
I found myself thinking, oh man, I wish I could have body tattoos. And then I was like, how often am I actually going to see body tattoos? Like, I know people say that about face tattoos, and I feel it. You wear a helmet most of the time. But I'm going to see my body tattoos even less. Not to say that we shouldn't have any. But I can see why that would be less of a priority than face tattoos.
There's
a little. Like Pico, always a winner, right?
There's a
little.
Pico tattoo?
Oh, there's a Pico tattoo. He's gonna be surfing down everyone's necks. Get ready for Pico neck
There's a
tattoo.
Pico neck tattoo?
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Cody Road? Right there.
That's the
I
stuff.
don't even know what that is, but yes.
We are and
So yeah, character customizers getting some stuff. The stubble's huge, you know. Can't get by without some good stubble. Graphics wise, we've got some improved lighting coming in, it seems like. Improved post-processing, lens flare and bloom, better clouds in RCorp, which from what I've been hearing are more like the... What's that video? What is that video? Something the verse. Let me just type in CitizenCon the verse and see if it comes up. Hey, it came up, life in the verse. It sounds like these clouds are more reminiscent of the clouds we saw in this demo, which are incredible.
But it's still pretty inhospitable, very cold. As you can see, some of those lightning strikes in the clouds, but yeah, very, very pretty looking.
So still not weather.
This is the first time we're
still
actually
not
seeing...
weather, but what if at CitizenCon this year they give us a Planet Tech V5 demo, and in that demo they finally introduce us to actual weather systems. I'm not talking about wind that blows your ship off into the distance for no reason. Like rain, thunderstorms, snow, actual dynamic weather. I'm really hoping we see that at CitizenCon. That'd be a great thing to add in on top of these new clouds. But I do think from what we're hearing, these new clouds are starting to show up a little bit more and be closer to what they showed. This was like 3 years ago now at CitizenCon.
Clouds above a terrestrial planet. You know, we went through quite a few iterations of forms. What we ultimately ended upon was something that felt quite dramatic, still believable in terms of how the wind would have shaped them. But yeah, like it's showcasing a lot of the more recent tech that came online. Also, what we're seeing here is like some kind of distant thunder strikes. And what this is, it's kind of like a prelude to, you know, future weather features that will be coming on board, you know, and how this will tie into, you know, storms and ship handling, you know, due to the turbulence. And it's great seeing the, you know, the rain hit the canopy glass here, you know, when you go through these cloud banks.
This whole experience could be amazing with like the thunder around you, the sound of the rain hitting the ship. This whole sort of double layered cloud, I think they call it a cloud sandwich, is actually something we've been seeing a little bit in game, I think, but definitely will be, it sounds like at least, something that's showing up in 3.24.2.
But, you know, it feels really quite exhilarating, you know, to fly through. Also as well, like, it's showcasing a lot of the more recent tech coming on board as well. So, you know, it's a lot of optimizations been going on. So it's way more performant than previously it was. Also, like the level of artifacting that we're seeing here is substantially reduced, certainly on highest.
So that's good stuff. We like clouds. Clouds are yay. Clouds are good. Somebody else asked what other kind of stuff they could be showing in the planets. Let me show you some of the Planet Tech stuff. We went over this last week. Specifically, though, the terrain scattering on GPU would be huge to help optimize this game and make it better for almost anybody who's playing the game. It would pull more stuff off of the CPU, put it on your GPU. Everyone knows this game is very CPU bound. Everyone knows. They're all saying it. Everybody has said it. I'm sorry. Every time I say everyone knows, like that drills into my head. But yeah, moving all that stuff over to GPU would be huge. I think they'll probably show us some more of this scattering stuff. The harvestable resource and fire systems, they'll probably give us a little demo of fire on planets. They're only doing that in ships right now, but I imagine the next bet would be planets. Maybe we will see lava. It doesn't really feel all that useful to them right now. I don't think there's anywhere in Squadron or in the first 3 star systems that has lava. It'd be cool if they included that in Pyro, but they haven't hinted at that at all. We just know that the water river system could be used for lava, but I don't think they're going to do that. And then obviously the machine learning stuff that they want to do for Planet Tech generation. The important bit here is that rather than procedurally making planets, what they want to do is use the terrain data that we have from Earth and Luna and basically be able to make a planet that knows there would be more impressive details of the planet. So canyons, cliffs, large mountains, large unique features that you can't just make procedurally because they would break the system, but can be included because the neural network that they're using can kind of identify that would be a reality. So that was, let's see, that was, yes, that was, sorry, we got very distracted by the Planet Tech stuff, but that's part of the graphic stuff. Better clouds in RCorp, yes, and then the optimizations in rendering. This is something that they talked about last year as well. We still don't have global illumination, and they haven't really talked about that, but they've worked on their own. This is part of the beauty of having their own game engine, is that they've been able to build their own post-processing. What is it called? Super rendering? What is the DLSS? What's the name for that? It's not over processing. It's I can't even find it on here. Upscaling. There it is. Yes. So they have God dang. So they have their own upscaling functionality in their own engine. Obviously there is DLSS, there is FSR, but they have TSR, which is something they've made for Star Citizen specifically. And it sounds like the quality and the performance of this version of upscaling is seeing some improvements as well. There was ghosting more going on in their upscaling, and I think their upscaling is software based, so it works on any hardware. It's not just locked to NVIDIA things like DLSS or something like that. So that could be good. Another good optimization pass. None of these are going to make it so that we're all running at 60 frames per second, but these are the little steps that we're taking that were completely unseen, just not even in the conversation for the last 5 years. And now we are seeing optimizations every year on the client side that slowly is getting this game into an actual place where people can enjoy it, not with a supercomputer. Not to say it won't be a demanding game to play, but things are getting better. Do we know when there will be a tier 1 of base building? We don't know that yet. I would say they'll probably talk about that at CitizenCon. Somebody said that they just updated their map for CitizenCon. Where is that? Where should I find that? Community booths? All right, we will, so this is just for community booth stuff. Is there a map or something? Ah, here's a map. Okay, so it looks like, let's open this up. Looks like we've got the hangar. Something is being styled as a Bengal hanger. Where's the tomato booth? We're not doing one this year. Next year, though, keep an eye out. Community hold, Addison Lounge, mess hall, probably for food. Is this all self-contained then? Last year, you had to kind of walk quite a bit outside to get food. I wonder if they're including the food in it this time. We've got the theater right here. Interesting. They are probably not telling us everything about what's on this map just yet. That being said, I do not see a place for computers to be set up, which is interesting. But again, who knows what else there is? That's the event map. That's really all we've known so far, I guess. And maybe that's the information drop he was talking about. Let's see what the FAQ says. Ah, is this our freaking schedule? Oh, wonderful. Okay, so the first day is a 12 freaking hour stretch, which means I will be live for like 15 hours. If you guys are wanting to come and join us for our watch party, we'll be doing giveaways. We got a bingo thing going on, all the things. I will make sure to have that up on the on my YouTube channel here by Wednesday, so you guys will be able to RSVP if you need to. But it looks like they're gonna be doing some pre-show stuff. Main show starts at 11 a.m. their time, which I believe would be 1 p.m. my time. Main show ends at 7:15, but then the event ends at 9. Whatever this is, maybe it might be a meet and greet or something. They don't have that listed yet in between these two spots. And then the second day, they're going to be ending much earlier because Atmo Esports is doing their event. So that will be, looks like about a 6-hour day for us. Plus, obviously, you know, our before and after, we'll be doing a lot of, our own talks in there. I will be calling into a couple of folks who are there on the floor. We will be, like I said, doing some giveaways, some analysis in between the panels, some discussions, just like we're doing right now in between panels and before and after. It's going to be busy days. After that, I will be having a couple podcast episodes throughout the week. Citizen Central will be happening, where I'll have a couple of people who were both at the event and watching it at home. We'll be discussing what we saw, what we thought. We'll probably do that one live, and then I will have a launch sequence episode later that week that will come out the following Monday. There's going to be a lot to go over, though. This is going to be a big show, I bet. Every con has been full of BS, and every con has also been full of things to look forward to. I'm not going to lie to any of you. There's been plenty of stuff in CitizenCon that does not show up. I think since 2022, they've been doing better at that. But it still isn't perfect. But anybody that you talk to, if they tell you that CitizenCon doesn't offer anything, just ignore them. Anybody that you talk to that tells you that CitizenCon tells you everything that's going to happen and that they always hit it just like they need to, ignore them. Those are our extremities. It's somewhere in the middle. They miss stuff and they get some stuff. And generally, you shouldn't expect everything to be delivered, but it at least gives you an idea of where they're headed. They don't ignore them. They are allowed their own views. Those things don't disagree with each other, my friend. You can ignore people while they still have their own views. Ignoring somebody is not murdering them. It is a marketing tool. It is indeed a marketing tool, and a lot of it is building hype and building just a chance for people to get excited for stuff. And a lot of times that stuff doesn't show up when it should. But I would say anybody who's 100% positive or 100% negative on it is letting their own emotions get a little bit too much in the way of what reality is when it comes to CitizenCon. That being said, let's continue with this. Improved VFX, better effects than when projectiles hit the ground, including on-foot weapons, engine thrusters. Hopefully they've toned down the effects of things that hit ships. A lot of you have already mentioned it. Those effects are really, really bright. In fact, you can see that in the panel from last year. No, not fix it and fly it. What was the other one called? Taking flight. That's right. You can see it in this demonstration right here. Like when they're first approaching this hammerhead and you're just getting some views of it. You can see sparks flying off like crazy. Look at that. Look at how bright these sparks are.
This new flow
like it's a bit much.
The core of our new AI fly combat experience. In combinations with AI traits,
what's up, Stumafu?
Designers the tools to tailor each combat encounter in the verse. Like for example,
so
they can
maybe that's included in this. Who knows? Improved LODs, ground terrain on planets seem to load more seamlessly further away. That's good. Man, that's really nice. It sucks to see pop in when you're flying over a planet, but I also understand the optimization is key. So I do hope that they can find a good balance there. You're getting the vibe. This is the big one, the CitCon we have been building towards all these years, and release date reveal Squadron. How do you feel going in? Dude, I'm gonna view this. I was very, very hyped for last year's, and I think a big part of that was because we didn't have CitizenCon for like 2 or 3 years. I'm more reserved this year going into CitizenCon. I know this is an important con. I know it is an important time, especially considering Squadron 42. I think more than anything persistent universe related, this is a very important event for Squadron 42. This could be the kicking off of the marketing for that game. This could be the chance for them to finally give us yet another release window that, you know, we won't really believe that much, but at least indicates what their plans are short term. And I think they really want this to be a big CitizenCon, but I'm reserved. I can guarantee you all, I will get swept up in the hype during the event. That's just, that's part of enjoying something and getting to go to the biggest event of the year for that something. It happens at the LA Car Show. It happens when SpaceX launches a rocket into the sky. It happens during CitizenCon. I get swept up in hype. That's an absolute. I can guarantee that. But I don't think this is going to be an event that like changes people from thinking that this game is taking too long to suddenly being like, oh, well, it's all forgiven. Everything's good. Look at what they've presented. I still think that they'll have the same challenges after this event that they had before, and that is delivering an actual good experience and you know, that being fun for players. Whatever they show us at this convention, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But we'll have to see what they can do after that. Because until Squadron 42 launches, it's still just the persistent universe that we have to really go off of. And unless you got your hands on it and your eyes seeing it on your own computer, always be skeptical. The Yard House last year was pretty crazy. That was good fun. You have no idea how they're going to talk about SC for 12 hours and not make a load of impossible to achieve promises. No one's going to want to go there just to hear the same stuff they heard about last year. First thing to consider is the things that they will talk about for those 12 hours are not promises. As long as you don't think they're promises, there are tons of things they could talk about for 12 hours. Hell, I could talk about things for 12 hours and I don't even know what they have planned past 4.0. Nyx, for starters, the system coming after Nyx, after that, the faction systems that they're bringing in, Planet Tech V5, base building, obviously, they haven't really emphasized or elaborated on base building that much. And I guess stuff that we don't really know that they're working on just yet. Yeah, Vasson, we kind of had that outdoor area at Yard House on lockdown. Way less enthusiastic about CitizenCon this year. There's been way less improvements to the production speed visible from the transition of so many devs back to SC from Squadron. I don't think they've transitioned as hard as they were saying they were going to. Even from what devs have said in the meantime, it sounds like a lot of them have had to go back and forth between Squadron and SC. And it did not end up going as well as they thought in terms of people transitioning over. They need to not say they plan to deliver everything in the next 12 months and get barely half of it. Yeah, that definitely helps. Toes! Okay, just a heads up, folks. Power is apparently possibly gonna drop here. So if I randomly go offline, that's just a heads up. It's not because I don't like you. Love hanging out with you guys, but our power is a little bit iffy out here so far away from the city, and there is currently a storm going on. So that's just a heads up. Our voltage is fluctuating a little bit. Do I think we'll see a demonstration of dynamic server meshing? I don't know. They're probably all hands on deck for static server meshing right now. Give us 12 hours of Tony Z. Oh, God. How funny would that be if they just had Tony Z, like, walk up onto the stage, not say anything, and then just walk down the other side of the stage? Just be like, hey, y'all, I'm here. Okay, bye. Star Citizen's always exciting to you because most games that came out this year are meh to you.
Dan style. I'm just happy to be
Oh yeah, like Dan Hauser did last year. Yeah, that would be good. Your streams are always electrifying. Ah, Tiny Home, bringing in the jokes. You should change your name to Tiny Jokes Gaming. A full day of Tony Z would give me a full year of content. You know, I still haven't listened to that whole panel of what was it? CitizenCon. The heck was the name of that one? Dynamic System of Thought. I think it was just System of Thought. System of Thorough is what we're going with, actually, here in Meat Fingers Land. Systemic Stream of Thought. That's it. I still haven't watched this whole panel. This one's hard for me, man. This is a difficult panel. It's an hour and a half long, and there is not a single piece of gameplay in here. It is just talking the whole, like there's a couple little bits like this. Like, okay, yeah, let's look at the mission manager, cool. And then at the end here they give a little update on Quantum. But like, oh my sweet Jesus, this one was hard. I remember seeing this one live and I kind of blacked out for a lot of it and I haven't tried since. But now Tony's got cool things to say. It's just they're very conceptual. None of it is ever coming to the game. See, folks, remember what I said about that kind of stuff? About people who say that stuff? What's the point? What's the point when we're like literally looking at stuff that came to the game from last year's CitizenCon? This year, if Civ 7 came out this year, this would be a great gaming year for me. I liked Outlaws, that was cool. I haven't tried Frostpunk 2, but I am excited for that one. Satisfactory came out this year. That's great news. And, yeah, I can't really think of a big game besides that stuff that came out. Scott. Nothing. Oh, Starfield's new expansion comes out today. Sick. Good for them. I hope it goes well. I was looking at previews of it and I was kind of like meh on it, but I'm happy that it's getting more expansions. I hope they continue to develop that game. I didn't play Wukong or Space Marine 2. I hear they're good games. I'm happy for the people who have enjoyed those games, but they didn't really interest me all that much. Satisfactory though. Civ 7 is such a deviation from the normal Civ gameplay. See, the way I feel about that is I would rather Civilization 7, I think I said Satisfactory. I would rather Civilization 7 be different from 6 or 5, because then I could still go back and play 6 and 5 for the style I want. It's nice that they're doing like a different take on a different kind of on the same game. I love that. I haven't played Baldur's Gate yet. That's something that me and Mrs. Tomato are going to try out soon. Ooh, Alan Wake 2's getting a DLC. Nice. That game's too scary for me, but I'm super happy to hear it. Thought you lost me? Did I drop for a bit? Dude, that's scary. All right, back to the 324.2 stuff. Better textures. Planet ground textures seem to look better far away. That's good stuff. Improved Skybox. Oh! It's a new Skybox. Folks. What do you know? They don't just change it and then leave it like that. And you know what? Very briefly. Oh boy. Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. You know what's interesting? The Skybox is probably going to change again in the future. It's good to keep in mind that if they make a drastic change to, well, I wouldn't say the Skybox changing color is drastic, but if they make a change like the Skybox in-game, it's probably going to change to something else a little bit later, or get tuned in a little bit later. Like, we are so far from this game being anywhere near close to a commercial release. And like, I know a lot of people play it like it's already released and it's a everyday kind of game and it's basically just the game to play. But a lot of stuff's going to continue to change. This goes for balance, this goes for factions, it goes for payouts, it goes for skyboxes. I wouldn't let it stress you out too much. You know, like, hit a poll, leave a comment, let folks know that you think it could be different, but it just gets, I think it's just more stress than it's worth. You barely noticed the green. When you did not think it was a big deal at all. I haven't really paid much attention to it, to be honest. This is what everyone has been saying about the haze and lack of stars. Yeah, it's this. So you can see more stars. The green nebula is darker and blends better with the darkness of space, is what they're saying here for 324.2. All right, moving on to audio. NPCs are apparently saying more wild lines and having conversations in the game. That's interesting. NPCs don't do anything but stand on tables. So I refuse to believe that. In fact, I believe they're probably standing on tables and giving us their conversations and wild lines, which is a slight improvement. Better sound and balancing. Solid. Variants of the Star Engine trailer music for main menu. That is, it's good music. Pedro Camacho does work with this music. Just have a little listen for a little bit. Solid stuff. So yeah, this song, I guess, is now playing in the main menu, which is cool. Honestly, it sounds more like launcher music to me, but wherever I can get more Pedro Camacho, the better. And yes, we will have the same composer for the complete release. Generally, Pedro Camacho handles most, if not all, of Star Citizen's music, while Jesus, why do I always forget the name? Joff Zanelli handles most of the music for Squadron 42. So they're both pretty stuck in for their respective work, and they do great work at that. Love the splash screen, but think they clash with each other a bit. They need a new menu splash to match the new music. Don't know what the splash screen is, but I could see that. Good afternoon, Jock Cop. How's it doing? Hans Zimmer's son. Zanelli tweeted he just recorded the bagpipes for Squadron 42. Basically got confirmation about that. I didn't even know he was tweeting about it. But the other day he had said, so he tweeted, man, where? Brother, where are you? So he had tweeted like back in early September this. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing bagpipe recording sessions. And then if you go into the comments, Jared says, I'll see you there, my friend. And then if you go to Jared's posts back around 2 weeks after that in September, you'll find, wait for it, this. And he's recording in there. And so yeah, basically confirmed, more bagpipes being recorded. I wonder if it's something they're recording for like right now. I think that's actually him right there. No, that's not him. I wonder if this is something they're recording for CitizenCon or if it's just for the game in general. Either way, definitely doing some more recording, and I am excited to hear it. Yeah, I haven't seen the main menu background image. Or are you saying it's the same as what we have right now in 324.1? Anyone else worried that bagpipes are traditionally used for funeral? Hey, I mean, with the way that the Battle of Vega goes, might be a little on brand. Reddit is bashing the BIS paints, as Reddit does. They don't look great in the lighting generally. They don't ever look as good as they do in the actual, in like the hanger pictures that they post for them. All right, so yeah, new music in the menus, in the game, wild lines, new dynamic music for quantum travel. I personally think that like if we heard the same music every time we quantum traveled, that might get a little old. But we'll see what they do with that. Hopefully it's more like, oh, you're quantum traveling to a new location. We're going to play some music for you. That would be cool. But if I'm just like doing my same cargo route for the 5th time that day and it starts up some epic music for me, I might turn that off. Don't think you'll be able to watch with GII like you wanted, Nomad? Like you can't make it there live? Traditionally, pipes are used for a lot of things. ED has distinct Super Cruise music? I didn't know that. 4 a.m. is a bit early. Yeah, this is going to be early for... They don't even specify time zone here. That's a bit weird. But 9 a.m. in Manchester to Istanbul is, yeah, 11 a.m. my time. So It works out quite well for me being here, which is kind of why we're not leaving to go back to the US before then. It's easier to cover from over here. But that is very early for people over in the States. 9 a.m. Manchester to PST is... Holy crap. Oh my god. Yeah, that is a bummer for US coasters. God dang. Y'all gonna be up early, but I mean, you'll still be there for, you know, by the time it's 6 p.m. in Manchester, that's at least normal times for you. Early time for you and you're in the UK. Yeah, I think a lot of people will be showing up like midway through a show at this time, but it's the difficulty of having an international audience. It's like, when do you host it? It's a hard call, and I think it's probably better to host it at this time than it would be for American time. I mean, American time, 9 a.m. By the time it's done over here in America, it'd be like 4 p.m. PST to Istanbul. For us, it'd be ending at 2 a.m. That's not as bad. I think it's better to go into the night than to start early and like midnight. Isn't it PDT this time of year? That makes it 2 a.m., which is way better. Oh yeah, maybe it's PDT. I don't know, man. You Americans and your changing of time zones. You host it in the US time? Please. 6 a.m. for the main show ain't too bad. You try to wake up at 7 most days. Not absolutely terrible. I'm going to be up bright and early for it. Oh boy. 11 a.m. It's like really, really good starting time for me. 11 a.m. is great. Gives me time to have breakfast, go on a little walk beforehand. That works. Sucks that you have to work during that weekend. The one weekend you have to work. So, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Havoc. Good to see you, by the way, buddy. Welcome in, dude. Should just tell them to not make you work. Nice for a change. Now you know how us Europeans feel when live shows are USA times. Yeah, well, fair. Okay. Other changes that we are seeing here. The P8AR civilian variant single-fire DMR is coming, it seems. It's the CitizenCon goodies pack one, and since obviously it's coming in the game for CitizenCon, we can probably assume 324.2 is also coming for CitizenCon. And I'm hoping that this gives me some nice Halo DMR feels. It's my favorite weapon to use in that game. Gosh, oh man. I had so much fun with either the DMR or the battle rifle in Halo, and hoping that this gun can scratch that itch a little bit. The army tells you what to do. Yeah, but it's Star Citizen. Don't they know? Don't they understand? They have bagpipes. Echo, you're considering not watching? That would be rough, especially for, well, it is a Saturday. So, like, if you're not working that weekend, you can just sleep during the day. Reddit going off on the BIS paints is giving you a headache. Looks like any other BIS paints. Just say you don't like purple. I love purple. But dude, a lot of the paints in this game don't look good to me. I just don't really pay attention to the paints in this game, to be honest. SWAT with DMR, so perfection. That was multiplayer FPS perfection. I miss that so much. Uh-oh. I really miss like Halo Reach era of multiplayer gaming. Armored flight suit and helmet functions like light armor, available via the CitizenCon goodies pack. I didn't know about that. Real quick, I'm not seeing physical swag bag, buy multiple tickets, how tickets be delivered. Oh, like if the ticket's purchased to... On 10, am I still able to get the digital goodies pack? What should I bring? Can I cosplay? Non-backers acquire a ticket. That would suck if that was a no. I was just looking through this to see if there's any more information. I don't know about that armored undersuit. Is this it? Oh, it does have a little bit of like armor right here. So here's the P8 rifle. I think she's holding one as well. Looks pretty sick. It looks very small, like very skinny. DMR vibes. You've got the exclusive undersuit and helmet. They don't even say it's armored here. That'd be interesting though if this is actually a different kind of undersuit that acts like light armor. Does that mean that you can wear a backpack with an undersuit then? Because if there's an undersuit that allows you to wear a light armor, that's suddenly the best undersuit in the game by far. They just call it a flight suit here. Golly gee, that would be sick. The Good Doctor has an Arena Commander flight map. Cool, we know that one. That's the one in the little Savannah area. Better controller support. Button prompts, mouse controlled panels. Automatically put a mouse cursor in the center to click. Better key bindings for controllers. Oh my god. Am I going to be able to use elevators with a controller? Just that would be great. I love freaking better controller support. I know people have some very weird feelings about gamepads, but I like using gamepads when I'm playing games, especially FPS shooters. I like the haptic feedback when I'm shooting. It's nice. It's what I grew up with. Feels more natural to me. Feels pretty fun. If I'm not being competitive, I like to be able to play with a gamepad, so I'm glad to see that they're supporting it a little bit better. The air and belt gateways would be sick to see. Real reason you live in Istanbul. How many kitties do you and Mrs. Tomato have, and why aren't we seeing pictures? We don't live in Istanbul, but we share their time zone. We live a few hours outside of Istanbul, and no kitties, but 2 dogs. The cats come and go. You know, we don't. That's weird. There's a car out there. We don't have to have the kitties ourselves, you know? They're just all over the place. You use your Xbox controller for elevators now? Does it work now? Oh, sick. Oh, that's good to hear. Wonderful. Still can't figure out how to throw grenades with the gamepad. Just give me that Halo bumper jumper controller support and I'm good to go. Does anyone ever really own a cat? Or does the cat own you? Gamepads and shooters are the worst and need to make auto aim to be remotely usable. I mean, don't give me auto aim. I'll put up with it. I just like the comfort of it. You're willing to bet it launches at some point for both PC and console on the same day. I can see Squadron 42 going to the console. And I'm cool with that as long as it doesn't hurt the development of... Like, as long as it doesn't lead to the performance ceiling of the game coming down. Like, if you need to dumb down the optimization to get it to run on a console, cool. But, like, still let PCs run it at the tippy top with the nicest looks. Don't ruin textures. Don't ruin all that good stuff that we're looking for from PC gaming. And just forget about bringing it to Star Citizen. Just keep it to Squadron. What's up, Anno? Good to see you, dude. Have we lived there long? Yeah, Mrs. Tomato's from here. So she was here for the first 14 years of her life. And after we met, we came back here about 5 years ago now. And we spend some of our year in America. We definitely spend time over there. We plan on spending more time over there than over here, but yeah, we do parts of our years here. What else we got here? Focus mode for terminals. Automatically places terminal screen in the center and prevents movement. Can leave with escape. That's a good one. That's another great addition from CitizenCon last year. It's one of those little ones that kind of snuck past and wasn't really, all that. It wasn't like a big feature that everybody was focused on, but I think it's a pretty key one that'll make the game more usable.
Really hard.
They only really talked about it right here. Listen in.
Okay, let's quickly talk about kiosks and terminals. And let's be honest, it's really hard to interact and get a good view of these ones. So we made a small little changes to make it easier for you. We've created a new focus mode that will walk the player to perfectly align with the kiosks. So we can better perfectly frame the screen on the viewport. At this point, the interactive screen will steal the input focus until you actively chooses to leave. So let's take a look at this in action. And look at that, when you trigger it, and like, yeah, so this is a very small quality of life improvement, but it will make it much easier for you to interact with its kiosks.
Okay, kind of hard to notice what actually happens there. We'll play it again. Basically, you can see that you can see the screen, and you hit the F button to use it, and without doing any sort of controls,
when you trigger it, and like,
it automatically walks you over to the screen and then censors it on your screen. And I like this. This reminds me of Prey, the newer Prey, where all of the screens that you interact with are actually in the game like this, but it puts them in your field of view as if you're looking at a real menu. And I think this will be a great usability option. And hopefully it fixes some of the problems we have with these screens and the way that they focus on it. Yeah, it looks like using terminals in Fallout too.
Yeah, so this is a very small quality of life improvement, but it will make it much easier for you to interact.
Yeah, quality of life. As were quite a few of the things they announced at CitizenCon last year. On-foot weapon overheating. Energy weapons now have a bar showing temperature. If the bar is filled, the weapon stops firing. Give me that plasma rifle experience. God. Sorry, I'm a huge Halo slut. We saw this with the Volt weapons that they were introducing last year. Check it out.
These are the Volt weapons. So Volt is primarily based around controlling a heat of a weapon. These weapons have the potential to overheat. And if they overheat, you will be unable to fire. And they will enact differently. So some weapons will just basically be beams from the get-go. Some will go into beams. Like you see, this one goes into a beam once it reaches a certain level of heat. And it's really fun because these are quite powerful weapons, and you basically want to manage the heat and keep it in that ideal spot. Okay, cool. And scope improvements. Now, this was shown yesterday, but I want to dig in a little bit more with this one. So,
heat-based weaponry is becoming more of a thing, and if you really want to learn more about how this will work, there's a whole panel at an earlier CitizenCon here that talks a lot about weapon types, the ability for armor to rebuff those weapon types. So they were talking about different FPS weapons that have a laser, plasma, electron, tachyon, gamma, EMP damage. Then the armors, that how they can balance that kind of stuff out. And this would obviously lead to more types of armor, more customization, more ability to just kind of build out the equipment that you could find, acquire, and craft in this game to build more options. Acidic caves also coming, contains pools of acidic water and waterfalls, no loot containers. So we saw this with, I think they included a picture of these in one of the monthly reports, probably for July here. So these are the caves they're talking about. They've got stalactites, stalagmites, pools of water. They look a little bit more like they're less those old rock type caves that we have and more the new sand type caves. So there's more verticality and larger areas. But really, it all depends on what kind of missions they put in these caves. It doesn't sound like they're putting anything in them just yet. It's just more stuff for later, really. New rock caves doing the same things, but with rocks and the Zeus MK2 ES and CL. So that's what's going on with 324.2. For a point patch, it's pretty thick, but we don't know how much of this stuff's actually going to be in the live patch. So we'll hold off on the true hype until later. The biggest thing, though, with this update is this. This is kind of just a big old piece of information that in classic CIG fashion, they didn't make any sort of announcement about. They didn't say anything to us about it. They didn't release this information. They just kind of popped into a Twitch chat and said it offhand, like it's not super freaking important. And unfortunately, this came out while we were recording my podcast yesterday, so we didn't get to factor this into our discussion around the testing for 4.0 and stuff. But I'm glad that, you know, we got to find out about it at some point. And basically, this is saying that the 3.24.2 patch is functioning on 4.0's codebase. This is pretty important, in my opinion. This is kind of like, bear with me because this metaphor might be a little bit confusing. 3.18 came out as the big tech update, right? And instead of moving on to 3.19 with a new code base, they released 3.19 on 3.18's code base. They did that so that they could continue to fortify and stabilize 3.18's code base, so that 3.19 was essentially a more a more stable version of 3.18, which is good for everybody. That's what we want. They're kind of doing the same thing here, but in reverse. So now instead of releasing 4.0 and then releasing 4.1 on 4.0's code base to stabilize 4.0, they're releasing 4.0 almost early, kind of. They're releasing the code base of 4.0 early, so you can almost view 3.24.2 as the 3.18 and then 4.0 as the 3.19. Now, it's not exactly the same because obviously we don't have server meshing in 3.24.2, but the code base, the small glitches that might be popping in, the instability that they might be getting with 4.0, all that kind of stuff, this allows them to start throwing players at that and testing it on a larger scale than PTU would without just kind of releasing 4.0 and seeing what happens. This is I think this is a super key and important move that they're making that shows how serious they are at avoiding a 3.18 again and trying to make sure that this is a more stable release, because 4.0, we've been saying it, I've been saying it for months, 4.0 will be the most important and the most covered moment of Star Citizen to date. This is going to be the most journalism that this game has ever received, the most focused Star Citizen has ever received, and the biggest chance for them to either f*** up in front of everybody or impress. So far, I don't think it's obviously like commercial release is a bigger deal, but up until now, the community was not this big. The rhetoric around the game was not the same. There's much more for them to prove now than there was for 3.0. It's just, it's a different ball game, and I think they understand that 4.0, while it's introducing new technology, while it's probably going to be unstable to some extent, they need it to play well. They need it to be something that looks good, because also, if they release it in December, they're going to be releasing it on the back of CitizenCon hype and on top of IAE hype, as well as possibly the announcement of a Squadron 42 release window. There's going to be so many eyes on 4.0. I don't think they can afford to mess this up. So this seems like a really good move on their part to get in there, get the code base into testing, try to figure out the small things that could cause problems later so that when 4.0 is finally ready to go out, they can focus on the big problems that do pop up and hopefully get a 4.0.1 out pretty quickly right after in order for it to be stabilized further. So this is kind of the big thing, and I think a lot of the features coming down to 3.24.2 aren't because of this. I think that's them just releasing the features that are ready and not dependent on 4.0. Like he said here, minus the things that are exclusive to 4.0, they're the amount of changes are beyond what was communicated. And I just don't understand why. Why that is the case. Like, why they didn't communicate this in other places besides just a Twitch chat. But yeah, this is a pretty big move on their part, and I think it's a good one. And hopefully it works out. The biggest thing that screwed up 3.18 is that they could not get enough people to test it because it was only in PTU and only so many people will go to PTU. Now they can basically force everybody who's in the live game to test 4.0 before it's actually out, and nobody has a choice. It's not like you have to sign up for PTU. They're literally like, okay, you're getting a live version. Doesn't matter if you don't want to help us test 4.0's code base, you're doing it anyways. And I think that's a better call. Might make 3.24.2 not run as well, but it's much better than 4.0 not running well. So that's the biggest thing coming to 3.24.2. Obviously, we just read through all the stuff in the Evo as well, but that's that. What I just said is more reason why you think Q4 2025 prediction would be more accurate. Wait, what? Why is that? You think they'll stay on the 3.24 branch for a year? Natural language leaves rooms for multiple interpretations, especially in casual conversation. Oh, you guys are having a conversation. Communicating through random disparate channels is pretty classic CIG. It is, but this is like a pretty important thing to say. Like, it's not even on the dev tracker. Reason they're doing this is because they want to push some kind of 4.0 but cannot wait for server meshing. You've been saying for weeks that they should do this. Next step is release 4.0 without server meshing, then you'll be happy. I think they should not do that, but we will see. Why would they need to communicate it wider? It spreads like wildfire through the community immediately. I mean, and this might be my own selfish reasons. I literally recorded a podcast during this announcement about server meshing, and because it wasn't released on official channels, we didn't know. And I think that, again, selfishly, it helps people who are also trying to cover this game to know official communications and information. And relying on it to spread through the community is just, it's not the right way, because also then your message can be spread throughout the community with other people's subtext. It's better to put out an official message that people can read with your own tone, your own vocabulary, and your own delivery. Server meshing worked decent enough that they could deliver both. Server meshing might have like 350 players in a shard, but that's better than what we have. Dude, I'd take 100 players in a shard if it just runs better. I could care less about how many players there are. The main thing I want from server meshing is performance improvements, you know? Oh, you're being facetious? Fascist? Fascist? Oh, sorry, computer. Okay, so the next thing we can talk about is the debate now about the Corsair. Oh my God, this is, yeah, so this is what you guys are talking about with Reddit. When something happens in the Star Citizen community, almost every post in the top post is about the same thing. Corsair topic, Corsair topic, Corsair topic, Corsair topic. Corsair topic. Corsair topic. Corsair topic. Skybox. I think that CIG was dumb to put so many guns on the Corsair, to be honest. I think that they marketed it as the wrong kind of ship, and if they do want it to be an exploration ship, it's now going to be difficult for them to convince people to go for other exploration ships in the same category if the Corsair is way, way better at handling itself in combat. Is that our fault? No, it's not. And like, somebody said this kind of take was white knighting. I don't think it is. I think it's pointing out that CIG made a mistake before, and now they're doing some not great things to try and fix that mistake. I don't know why they're changing the stuff with the Corsair and the weapons and things. I don't know why they're doing it the way that they are, but I think from the beginning when they started talking about the Corsair, they, just like with everything else, focused too much on its combat prowess when it's kind of a gunship a bit. Like, it's not entirely a gunship. I think there are some blind spots on it and the weapons aren't all that big, but it's got like 3 turrets, I think. 3 turrets and 5 guns pointed forward, or 4 guns pointed forward. Like, that's a lot of firepower. And they tried to call it an exploration ship. So it's like, why would I go for other exploration ships of that size if this ship can also be a gunship as well as an exploration ship? And I think that's their fault for once again making everything super combat focused. Like, you can look up the raft, I think, and it's got this as a concept image. Like, why the heck are you advertising a cargo hauler with guns blazing forward? Not even behind it. Not even like, oh, we're defending ourselves as we run away with our cargo. Like, what? Why do they do this with everything that they ever release? I feel like this is the kind of stuff that leads to what's happening with the Corsair right now. And I wish they would stop focusing so much on combat for just like everything all the time. I know that the game didn't really have much besides combat for the last 6 years, but you know, maybe we can start to sit back from it a little bit now. 6 forward facing plus 3 size 3 turrets. Okay. Oh, I'm speculating. What I'm saying is not confirmed. I'm speculating based on the idea that the Corsair is an exploration ship and it competes with other exploration ships, but I have no clue why they're making the changes they are. It is an insignificant detail. Dude, space game, bro. We thrive on overblowing insignificant details. The freaking Skybox. Oh my lord. The fact that you might have to have a player on your gigantic ship to help you run it efficiently. Huge problem. Huge problem. The fact that cargo haulers might have to spend a little bit more time loading their cargo. Big old problem. Like, a lot of these things are super insignificant, I think, to most people who play, because it's just not anywhere near the category of gameplay they choose, but we're all bored. You got the complaint from the solo players, but also they've never hidden that multi-crew ships won't be very easy for solo players to fly. Yeah. What if you need to blast away a floating ship or asteroid? Ram it. Shields, all shields forward. People want to play a multiplayer game alone. And you can. I would, just pick a more easily focused ship, like a Zeus or a C1 or a Freelancer or anything of that size range. I think that's still going to be plenty fun to play solo. The store page for the Pisces has a similar shot, guns blazing. Dude, they love that stuff. It's wild. I wonder if we looked up the Prospector. Does it have any shots of the using its weapons? I swear. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose it if it does. I don't see any. We're safe. How funny would that be if there's a concept image of it using its mining laser against another ship? Yeah, there's your Dude, what? This is the Pisces rescue, man. This thing is an ambulance. Why does it have missiles coming out of it? Oh my god, I can't. It's so funny. But like, it sells ships. You show a ship in combat and it definitely goes further. It's just such a weird choice. Like the you just imagine like an ambulance rolling down the street and it's got like miniguns sticking out the top shooting at people. I guess this would be more like the combat, like a I mean, Havoc, you could probably speak to this, like a rescue vehicle or like a medical vehicle on a battleground having like artillery sticking out of it or something. I don't know. I know that the thing is like Star Citizen's a dangerous universe. There's guns everywhere and all that stuff, but marketing it like this is weird to me. They came to rescue the guy, but it was too late, so they decided to just end him. They were like, "Hey man, we rescued you, but your bounty's pretty expensive. We might take that from you. Hope you don't mind." All right, so that's the Corsair. I don't know, man. Corsair drama is Corsair drama. And you guys are talking about this, the BIS paints. People are not happy about them. Most phoned in BIS paints so far. I wonder if I guess this is a leak. I probably shouldn't be showing that. Most wasteful vote for the Terrapin you ever did see. I can't show the pictures on the stream. Or I'm not gonna try to. I think they're coming from an NDA testing phase. But I guess they're not great. TwitchCon pains. We got our Twitch pains. CIG loves Twitch. I think they're bigger fans of Twitch than YouTube. So it fits. We'll have to see. I don't know. I haven't really looked at them in detail. The other thing I wanted to look at was the poll I put out. Obviously, this is still a Q&A kind of thing, so you guys are free to ask questions if you'd like. But I put out a poll earlier this week, last week, sometime in the last 7 days, that basically was asking, what are your overall feelings towards Star Citizen at the moment? Super simple poll. Doesn't go much further than that. I want to get a baseline for how people are feeling about the game, and I'm going to be asking this essentially every quarter from here. If you guys want to get in on it, I'll drop the link in the chat for you. But I want to get a baseline for how people are feeling throughout the year and what folks think of the game. And as my comment here says, a lot of the comments came back and they're just like master modes. But the overall consensus seems to see people are just kind of coasting and following along. And that's pretty much what I thought it would be. There are more people that say they are not happy as opposed to being very satisfied. I probably shouldn't have put very in there. I should have said I am happy and I am satisfied. This might have skewed the results a little bit, but 63% of people out of 4,000 plus votes are coasting and following along. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's generally how people are going to feel a lot of the time. I think a lot of people are just like, just chilling, you know, just waiting for this game to get better. And it's easy if you're following this game along day by day to let whatever the current thing is that's going on affect your outlook on the game. That's why I want to do this regularly, because I do think that the difference between this question now versus this question in a month would give us different results versus this question 2 months ago versus this question back in January. And it can be interesting to see how many people swing from very satisfied to not happy to just coasting along. You're satisfied, but probably wouldn't take very satisfied. Yeah, and now I'm bummed out because when I ask this poll again, I'm probably going to take out the very, and that's going to skew the whole thing. So I kind of messed up already. You'll never click satisfied until we are actually are persistent no wipes. Well, let's see. So this person said the satisfied ones must be people who are too new to have got past the illusions of the honeymoon phase. And I think that's missing the fact that a lot of people are just like looking at the overall progress of the game and feeling satisfied compared to before. This person said, I just jump in after every update and see what's up. That's about it. I think that's the best way to do it. Just like check it out. Don't give it too much attention. Play other games, enjoy yourselves, and that's good. This person said, don't care anymore. I would just move on at that point. So many bugs in regular play that it's unplayable at times, which I could see that. To a certain extent, there are a lot of bugs. This person said they're waiting for 4.0 because they're sick of the jank and desync. And to be honest, I feel like that 4.0 is probably going to have quite a bit of jank and desync. So you might want to wait a little longer. Can we please also not forget that the game is currently the most playable it ever was? Many people have a ton of fun right now. I think that's a little bit of a... Like, there's two ways to look at it. The game is both the most playable it's ever been, right? In the last 2 years, we've seen the addition of salvage gameplay, of actual cargo logistics gameplay, of mining getting an overhaul, of new ground locations for missions, and better medical gameplay, although they did take away those beacons, what kind of sucks. In the years before that, in like the 6 years before that, the only profession we saw get worked on was mining. So we're already seeing way more profession-based improvements in the game. But at the same time, the progress hasn't sped up that much. It's sped up a little bit, but not enough for, I think, people to really feel it and notice it. And I think that's why a lot of people just, even though it's good to play, still aren't that happy. It hasn't kept up with expectations, you know? Oh, and also master modes. Like this comment here, master modes was trash. They keep trying to expand content, but don't rework any of the known issues. We're still falling through elevators. I feel like this kind of comment is ignoring the fact that they're literally in the middle of a transit refactor, which is elevators. But I digress. Important moment in the dev at the moment. With new ship components and engineering, hope I'll be able to play Taurus in ERT missions like now with success. A Constellation Taurus in ERT missions? That's hefty. Star Citizen is as fun as you allow it to be. If you understand it's not in perfect spot, you can weather it if you find value in playing it as is. I think this game is way better if you don't think about it as a fully released and ready to play game. Otherwise, it's incredibly disappointing. Because if the game was just ready to go and they were like, yeah, this is commercial release valid, yeah, it would suck. It would really suck. A lot depends on what you like to do in game. You mostly mine and haul cargo. Best it's ever been for you. That's a good point too. This year changed everything for me 8 years later, and I'm semi-salty, no longer interested in spending or playing. I did say this was the year everything changed. I think a lot of people's satisfaction is based upon the belief that server meshing in 4.0 is going to open the floodgates and, development is going to speed up. Yeah, that's an iffy one. I think it'll help. I don't know about floodgates, though. You're not happy, but you're usually not happy about anything. You're mostly not happy about the direction of the development, not the game itself. You think the game is cool, and you don't care about things like master modes. What kind of development stuff are you unhappy about? Falling through geometry thing is a desync issue. Client and server can't agree on where you are in relation to the floors or elevators. Right, and like, a lot of complaints come back to that kind of stuff, and that's the kind of stuff that needs to be more focused on, like, that's focusing on server meshing and things like that, the server side optimization. Hold on one second, folks. Yikes. Mrs. Tomato sounds something gross in the cauliflower. Ew. I don't know what the heck that was. But yeah, like, it depends on how you view this game. If you view it as a launched game that you're playing and it's not going to change and it's just good to go, and I think that's how a lot of people view this game who don't realize just how much more work there is to do, then you're going to be real annoyed. Well, maybe you won't be, but generally you're going to be pretty annoyed. Because that's not the way to view it. It's a game in development. Like, even things like the Corsair changing like this, you could get pissed about it and be angry that the Corsair is losing some of its guns, or you can think that like, at some point, every single one of these ships, every single part of this gameplay, all of the things that they're introducing, even if it's nerfed, even if it's buffed, even if it doesn't pay out, even if it does pay out too much, all of it has to get balanced for an actual game at some point. And like, there might just be the fact that they don't care to balance it right now because they just want us to test. They just want us to be busy. The whole 3.x cycle of patches was all about keeping players so busy that they could just make Squadron 42 and not have us pitching at them all the time. And we still do, because like, y'all are still selling Star Citizen, and I think marketing it a little bit unauthentically as a playable now game that's got events going on and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, they're just trying to keep us busy and build their engine. And that's what sucks about this project. But also not what sucks, because they're building a pretty cool game. I've got a video coming out about this in a little bit, and I think it's gonna piss a lot of people off, but it drills down into the two comments that people like to leave a lot, which one is stop making new features and finish the game, which is silly on its own, but I think has a point. And the other is they are purposefully keeping this game in development because they'll make more money that way. Both of those comments I think are pretty dumb, but I do think have their feet in reality a little bit. And so I have a video coming out this week about that that'll explain that and probably get a whole bunch of hate watching, which I guess is good for engagement, but I'm not looking forward to the comment section of that one. Yeah, you're allowed to not play. And I think like if less people played the PU, they would realize they need to put more attention to it. And I think they've realized that over the last couple of years, which is leading to a lot more reasonable developments in the PU towards an actual game. And it's hard to notice that when you're just always angry about the decisions they're making. You're glad the game is in a playable alpha and not being developed behind closed doors, even if it's slowing down development. I would agree. I would definitely agree, because look at all of the things that they do while they're developing the game that we kind of give them a nudge on, and then they sort of make some changes. A lot of it, I think they're making changes that would have been made anyways because they're not final implementations they're making, but there's probably a lot of things that this game would have had that people wouldn't have liked if nobody was watching it. And the same can be said for most games that release. Like, there's a lot of games. Imagine if Concord, yes, I'm bringing that up, it's probably a bad idea, but imagine if Concord was in open alpha for all of its development. Probably would have released a lot better than it did. And the same could go for a whole bunch of different games that come out. It's just a freaking meat grinder in the meantime. Gonna get called a white knight again? Yeah, the whitest of knights. You think more of the issues spring up from overcomplicated designs requiring refactoring over and over again, which slows down overall development? I can agree to an extent there. I think that there are some overcomplicated parts of this game.
Toes!
Some of them being overcomplicated for just the sake of being complicated. But I don't think that necessarily leads to the refactors themselves. I think the refactors are just planned. Like, for instance, the cargo decks, that kind of thing, big mistake. That I agree with you on. But something like the UI systems, I don't think that they're implementing UI and then being like 2 years later, oh, this isn't good enough, we should redo it. I think they're implementing the UI just to have something that's placeholder there that works for the time. And then starting to get actual UI into place later on down the line. Oh, or here's another one. This is a big one. There's so many complaints. Actually, I think I saw this on Reddit. In this one. People, if you have life and family, spend your time with them instead. The garbage time sinks in this game shouldn't be worth your time. And like people, somebody said here something about, maybe it's further down. I don't even know where it was. Somebody was talking about, oh, it takes too long to prepare for missions. This kills me. This is one of the biggest things that I'm like, guys, this isn't how the game is supposed to work. When you talk about, oh, there's no point playing this game, it takes me 30 minutes to get ready for a mission every time. It's not supposed to. God, come here, grow up. You're gonna be able to wake up on your ship. All of your stuff is going to be on your ship. Everything's gonna be in your suit locker. You're gonna be able to wake up and get into a mission within minutes of logging in. And I don't know how else that can be communicated besides the fact that you can already do it. You can already store your stuff on your ship and wake up from your bed and get started on missions. And yes, it's not that stable, it doesn't work, but like, it's very clear this is the design the game is going for. And the fact that that doesn't work now, that's annoying, is so valid. And that's why people shouldn't be playing Star Citizen if that bothers them. Like, do not play the game if that bothers you. It's super easy. I think they're going to have to suffer for that. CIG is going to have to see their player base fall off because people don't want to play a fucking broken game that's not yet working how it's supposed to, when in the future you're meant to be able to just log in on your ship and start your mission. It's the most simple thing, and it's those kind of complaints that I'm like, man, that's not the way the game is meant to be played. People think the way it is now is exactly how it will be forever. Yeah. And it's just not. And for that reason, don't play the game now. Just don't play it. You don't understand how it takes some people so long to get anything done in this game? Yeah, I feel like it's not. Like, if you log off on space stations, it's not too hard. You wish that worked now? Yesterday you parked your ship in your hangar and stored it, and you logged back in later. The ship was marked as destroyed. That's annoying. The fact that it doesn't work right now is annoying, and I completely agree with that. But to say that the game itself is not good because of that is ignoring the fact that the game's still in development, which is its own problem. You can complain about that. It's been 12 years. It should be in a better place for people who want to play more regularly, but it's not, and that's reality. And I can't get over the fact that people say that that's a problem when it's a temporary problem. Even the stuff that we're seeing come in with Pyro, they're introducing missions that take place all in the same city. So you could just bed log off at that city, never have to get into a ship, and run some gameplay right there in your 20-minute, 30-minute session. You've never taken 30 minutes to play. If you really wanted to get going, it takes you 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, I I would agree. It's like 10 minutes for me, 15 minutes maybe to go from my hab to getting into a mission, which is a long time. 15 minutes is a pretty decent amount of time. That's a quarter of your gameplay if you're only playing for an hour. But that goes down a ton once you can log on and off in your ship. Would have been nice if your own personal hangar had a hab. That way it would make that hangar even more special and it would give it a value. At least a bed. Just let me put a bed in my hangar. That's good enough for me. From Babbage to Tressler from scratch is like an hour. You mean from scratch like you're buying stuff or you're just equipping stuff? There's no way. An hour to fly up to the space station? That's insane. That's too long. Concept of alpha is to add features, not necessarily fix bugs caused. That is what a beta is for. I agree with you, but I will agree with people also in the sense that this is marketed as a pretty playable game. Design-wise, yeah, things still got to move along, but they should get better at getting the bugs out of the way, I think, for simple gameplay stuff. And that's hard to do when you don't have the back end working, which is why 4.0 is the point at which I start to turn the fires on for us to get a more playable environment. $20 minutes? I could see that. Not an hour, though. That's wild. Yeah, maybe if you're like loading stuff into your ship. Thought bed logging was only going away temporarily. Even if it's going away, we'll eventually be able to log out in our ship and have both them and ourselves just stream out. Yeah, they're not removing bed logging. They're just removing it as the exclusive way to log off and on. They're gonna allow us to bed log and log off and on in other ways. You'll just get a buff from the bed logging. But yeah, this is, I mean, these kinds of posts are fun to go through in the comments and just see what people are saying. Because there's a lot of different takes. There's Master Modes needs to go away. You'll hold on. How often does Master Modes come up on here? Whoops. Let's do a little search. MM. All right, there's one. That's not one. Open to Master Modes still. It's another one about Master Modes. Still waiting for the Banu Merchantmen. Master Modes making our future space game go as slow as World War II. There's one for MMO, one for community, one for communicate, common bugs, committing, community feedback, arena commander. Cool, not as much Master Mode stuff. Immersed, comments, summer break. Master Modes removes all the fun of flying. Master Modes is not that great. Every Spectrum post is complaining about it, but not in a constructive way. Could be more constructive, that's for sure. Master Modes makes flying clunky. Hate the, oh, this one gets me. I hate the Half-Life 2 gravity gun being shoehorned into the space sim. Everything is unfortunately combat focused. I agree with that marketing wise, but I feel like we just got the cargo refactor, which is like not combat focused. How are you going to not be happy about the tractor beam and then say it's all combat focused? Come on now. It's a lot of Master Modes. Only 5 mentions of it though. That's pretty good. Not bad, guys. For 232 comments, only 5 mentions of Master Modes. That's okay. The issue isn't Master Modes, it's the tuning and balance of things. Yeah. I don't understand why that's not the way to go about it. Like, there's not much about Master Modes that's not about the actual tuning and balance. I don't really care for it either way. I just think that like just like everything else, it's in the midst of balancing and it's causing problems in Hubbub. And the Corsair. Corsair is the real problem here. You get so many Master Modes comments on your videos. Yeah, man. It's like no matter what you're talking about too. You could be talking about the new cows. And somebody will come and be like, I bet cows suck on Master Modes. Bet you can't tip a cow when it's flying in Master Modes. Your problem with the Master Modes is just not smooth. Yeah, I feel that. Feel good. Just a little rant off my chest there. Sorry about that. It bees like that. But that's really like, this is what's been going on with Star Citizen right now. 324.2 being having some elements of 4.0 in it, specifically the code base. That's good. That's really good to see. I mean, again, I wish I had known that for the podcast yesterday, because the tone of that podcast, I think, would have been much different. That's a very good proactive move on their part. Let's look at the ship store real quick. Not that I'm going to encourage anybody to buy ships, but I do want to see the new design they've uploaded. I think everything that they put here as a new player buy thing should be gold standard at all times. And I don't even think that's a hot take. I think almost anybody would agree with that. Like, these ships should be gold standard. Every feature that comes into the game should be fresh on these ships. They should have all of the polish, the switches, the physical interactions, all that kind of stuff. Because, like, what's more important than a new player experience? All right, how do we... Here we go. So... Okay, so they're categorizing it by ship manufacturer now. Jesus, there are so many manufacturers. Dude, this is such a nice store. Like, this is so... This is ridiculously nice. They put so much effort into this. I'm glad that the whole website is getting an update, because for the longest time it was just this kind of stuff that would get an update. This is looking much better. They let you change it based on the type of ship. Let's see. Exploration ships. Let's see what pops up here. The Corsair. You see? That's what I'm talking about. Like, this thing pops up for exploration, and look what it's up against. This isn't every choice, but this thing has so much firepower for being called an exploration ship. Not to say they need to take that firepower away, but I think they kind of messed up in how they introduced this ship. You were underwhelmed with the store? Well, I mean, maybe I'm too used to the store from before, but I think this is like, it's reactive. It's got like custom designs for every ship manufacturer. I guess there's not like much animation going on here, but this seems like a pretty nice store for a game that's not even released. Ironically, it's not shooting anything in the picture. And so many of its pictures actually include it shooting things too. See, now this is the old style. Compared to the ship store, this does not look great to me. But yeah, if you go through its concept images, it's shooting something, it's shooting something, not shooting, not shooting, not shooting, shooting something. Explorer. Yeah, they're changing up the Corsair's pilot-controlled weapons somehow. Still just basic modern web design. Hey man, I'm easily impressed, aren't I? I don't know how to make an impressive website, so all you gotta do is put little flashy bits on here, and I'm like, ooh. For sure about being gold standard, the way you wouldn't have to tell a guy, game is $45, but the starter ship is garbage, so you have to struggle till you can afford a ship that works correctly in game. Yeah. I mean, this is a pretty solid pickup, but this isn't even a game package. Here we go. Here's the other Explorers. Dude, imagine if the Constellation or like the Carrack had as much weaponry, respectively, as the Corsair. The reveal promo video for the Corsair even had a pirate shanty song in it. Yeah. They really dip into and it's like a argument of lore versus in-game use. They really dip into that whole Drake is for pirates kind of thing, which is cool. That's good fun. But don't let it get in the way of how you get people to buy the ships themselves. That's just kind of the same thing with all these big ships, you know? They put all these big ships up for sale for people to get into. And it's like if you were to come around here, let's see if I can find a good sized ship on this. Yeah, if you were to come up here and get a reclaimer. It says currently being built and tested for implementation. Where on the page does this say you're gonna have trouble flying this solo? Jesus Christ, it's expensive. Like it says, okay, they have a minimum crew. But this is the matrix of lies. Nobody believes this stuff. They do have the minimum crew on here, which is telling. And maybe they should have made this more apparent during all of these ship sales. Because on the front page, when you look at this on the ship page, it says max crew. It doesn't say minimum crew. And there's just so many people, so many folks that are slowly creeping towards more disappointment because while they can use their ship with a solo person, it's not going to be as effective, and they don't know that. Max crew 3 on an M2 Hercules. That's crap. That's insane. On an M2, how many people are going to be on the turrets and not need to do engineering? I feel like this is at least a max crew of 5. What do they say is the minimum crew on this thing? 1. See, what? 1? If the minimum crew on an M2 was 1, then the minimum crew on a reclaimer is 1. 1 person to fly it. I feel like they have all this stuff that's like not really giving the right idea behind these ships and how they're supposed to work. The A2's got more people for sure. Max crew of 6. But the M2 still... Doesn't the M2 have like 2 turrets on it? 2 remote turrets, plus engineer, plus a pilot. And yeah, you can probably man the 2 turrets with one of your engineers, but if you're in a battle, you're going to want an engineer who can move around this ship. Yeah, they should be factoring engineering into the crew count. Maybe not for a non-combat ship, but I think it should for a combat ship. Reclassifying it as a dropship. Large-scale transport, robust weapon package, assures your cargo, your crew gets to where they're going in one piece. Yeah, maybe this is a 3-person ship. Doesn't seem right for max crew. But I guess if there's 3 seats, then okay. I don't even know what they base the max crew on, to be honest. But I do think that there's a lot of different ships that maybe are bigger than this ship that don't quite tell you how much help you're going to need to run a ship well. Yeah, the Freelancer Miss has a higher max crew than the M2 Hercules. It used to be number of beds, but now that they're making bed logging not the only way to log off, I don't even know what defines the max crew. All of the freelancers have a higher max crew than the M2 Hercules. But these came out earlier, so they maybe changed the way that they were calculating that. If someone is new, they shouldn't buy anything other than a starter ship, getting overly ambitious and haven't even played the game. Dude, I totally agree with you there. But you know what happens when you see this first thing pop up on the website and you go, ooh, Pirate Week, let's get our plunder. What is this? This seems cool. Maybe I'll get into the game. Oh, look. Okay, first ship that they show me. Huh, interesting. Hercules A2. Freelancer has 4 cockpit stations, so that's probably how they define it as 4 max crew. Have I tried to solo mine in a mole? It's not too bad. I think actually Ferrister has some good videos on his channel doing that. Next thing they need to do though is definitely get the ship matrix updated. Yeah, 750 freaking bucks. Like, don't buy this ship. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your money, but don't buy this ship. That's so much freaking money for something that doesn't have its guaranteed gameplay in the game yet. All of these ships are so much. This is the one that you should be looking at. Or rather this one, Avenger Titan. You want them to put all this stuff from the website in the game on the Mobiglass. It's where it should be. Buy that ship. Buy 2. Titan's a good ship to start off with. Freaking fantastic ship. Like, the Titan or the Cutter or the Pisces are really good choices to start this game off with. Oh, yeah. Or the $100 Cutlass Black Pirate Week pack. Totally. Nomad's pretty solid, but kind of expensive. I would say anything $60 or less is what you should grab. $45 is the main thing to go for. But like if you're feeling a little spicy, feeling a little nice, you just got a little raise at work, $60 or less is probably pretty good to get you into the game and let you experience the gameplay. Yeah, we were looking at the floor plan for CitizenCon. The $100 Cuddy Black is sick. Yeah, but it's $100, man. I mean, it's like, it's a sale for the ship. So for somebody who knows the game, it makes sense. But as a new player, if you're hopping onto the first page, I wouldn't encourage somebody to grab that. Yeah, to upgrade, that's solid. Idris starter pack is the way to go. Screw that, man. Javelin. Javelin or bust. It's the only way to get into the game. All right, folks. We did our reviewing and our talking and our complaining and our ranting and all of our things. I appreciate y'all chilling here for it. It's good times. I love these Monday talks. I'm thinking next Monday, we do a little bit of a dive back into history. If there's no like big news going on next Monday, I say we go and look at some of the old CitizenCon videos and compare what we saw last year to the older presentations. Ooh, excuse me. And good Lord. And compare what we might see this year to some of the older presentations. But that's it for me today. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Got some entertainment, got some talks, got some maybe some information. The goods, the goods, the goods. Let's see. Will I be on CitizenCon? I won't be there, but I'm going to be doing some live streaming while it's up. I'll have that up on my channel soon, so you guys can RSVP to that if you want to join me. Make sure to check out, if you haven't already, on Discord. Mrs. Tomato announced we have a little bingo game going on the Discord. Our next garden games. First one was customizing me in game. This one is creating your own bingo board and submitting it. And whoever is able to get their bingo card first during CitizenCon is going to win a pirate-themed M50 from us. So that's one of our giveaways during CitizenCon, which you can get involved in. But we will also be giving away some other stuff during the show. So make sure to come and hang out for that. And yeah, if you just go to our server announcements on Discord, you can get more information there. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I will see you all on Wednesday, either for some more news to talk about, might play some Satisfactory. I don't know. Who really knows? It's whatever's going on during that show. Bingo Guard just says soon. And yeah, check out that new podcast with 10 Pound 42. That's a good one. It's a good talk. I've got a couple videos coming out this week as well. One about what we just gone over with 324.2. The other one, the controversial video that I told you guys is coming soon. And an exclusive video for all of you guys who put in the support. Thank you so much, YouTube. You guys popped off with the support today. Oh, it's not even showing up on the screen. There it is. Appreciate you guys. It means a lot, especially for the last day of the month. I know how that be. So yeah. That exclusive video will be about gold standard ships and what they should be bringing to the game and what should be getting the gold standard and how it should work and why it's slowing down the game and why it's the biggest problem CIG probably has to deal with in their development. Either way, though, appreciate y'all. Hope you have a wonderful day. Eat something you love. Go give somebody a hug of love. Go do something you love today. Have a good time. Treat yourselves well. I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.